Okay. Yes, this thing is on. Amazing. Brilliant. Welcome to our talk today, The Hitchhiker's Guide to a Great Developer Career. My name's Helen Scott. I'm a developer advocate at JetBrains, and I am joined today by...
My name is Sven, and I'm a DevOps advocate at Atlassian. And we're talking about the career. And during your career, you probably make some career moves. I want to start out with career moves that didn't went so well. And the first one is this guy here, right? You probably know him, right? Nicolas Cage was great in the 90s, right?
The Rock,
great movies.
I remember him in The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock, Con Air, epic movies, right? But then actually around 2000, 2002 or something happened with Nicolas Cage. He took some strange move in his career. And to be honest, he tried some movies. And now when I see this movie is with Nicolas Cage, I probably avoid it, right? So some not so good career moves in the career of Nicolas Cage. Some other career moves, right? Who knows Guns N' Roses? I mean, no, you don't have to raise up your hands. You probably all know Guns N' Roses, right? So I digged a little bit into it. And does anyone know why the band is called Guns N' Roses? Right? One? No? No one? Okay, good. Roses was actually pretty obvious. Axl Rose, right? Roses. But I didn't know about Tracy Guns. Tracy Guns was the founding member of Guns N' Roses. And actually, before they became famous and filled stadiums and sold a lot of CDs at that time, Tracy Guns left the band, right? Not the best career move, I must say. I don't know what was behind that career move, I must say, but from the outside, I said, not the best career move. And they replaced Tracy Guns with Slash, right? So great for Slash, not so good for Tracy Guns, actually. Then some other career moves, some other famous people career moves that didn't went so well. Ronaldo. But also, to be honest, right? We're not movie stars, right? And of course, yeah, in the back mirror, just like in the wing mirror, we can see like this was not a great career move, right? But also, we're not movie stars. So if we just like take 2, 3 not so great career moves, looking in the wing mirror, looking back, we can probably still just like make some better decisions on the career moves. So just saying that.
Yeah, we're definitely, perhaps hopefully not judged quite that harshly. But yeah, your career, it has a start and it has a middle, normally a very long middle, and it has an end where you skid into retirement and think, well, you know, that was fun. But careers are a journey. Right? That's the most important thing to mention. And we move around. And as we move around, we often have different motivators. You know, maybe we want more money. Maybe we want more seniority. Maybe there's a particular sector that appeals to us and we really want to work in that sector. Location, family, all these things play into it. But no matter what your career looks like, one thing is for certain. And it's this. And I know because I tried. Hope is not a strategy, but I do want to point out very early on in this presentation that even though we've put this slide up here, sometimes even when you take control of your career, and we're going to give you lots of tips to do that, just going to put that out there. That's definitely, you know, but as Sven said, we are not Nicolas Cage. We do get other options and other choices, and we can adjust and find our dream job. So don't panic. That's like what I want to say first and foremost. Don't panic. And talking of jobs, there's so many out there. Like even just between ourselves, we were totting up our job titles today, and they are plentiful. From developer advocate, obviously, developer, technical writer. I'm going to get this right. VP of marketing.
Yes, VP of marketing.
Product owner, like all the different careers that you could possibly go into, and Sven's going to go into that in a lot more detail for you. But careers are varied. They have their ups, they have their downs, they have their scenic moments, they have their potentially quite rubbish moments. But we're not here to talk today about our careers. We're here today to talk to you about some great developer careers. you got some great developer careers for us?
Yeah, I looked looked up some great developer careers. Actually, you probably don't know Judith Estrin. Who knows Judith Estrin? No one here, right? So Judith was actually part of the group that invented the TCP/IP protocol. So back in the 70s, she just like was part of the group, just like very technical job, right? Down to the bit level, just like doing the TCP/IP protocol. After that, Judith did some startups, founded some companies, and her last company that she founded was actually acquired by Cisco. And then she actually became eventually the CTO of Cisco, leading thousands of developers and thousands of engineers. So great developer career, Judith Estrin. Then we have another great developer career. Probably know this guy, right? Linus Torvald. Yeah, so he actually wrote the original Linux kernel and the Linux operation system. And then also he invented Git. So all of these great things. So great developer. But I'm happy that he's not my manager. If you've probably been on the Linux mailing list, you probably have heard that he can be very nasty. But even Linus Torvalds, he took a step back, going out of the Linux mailing list, and actually worked on his social skills. So even Linus is developing his career frequently. So great developer career. I still don't think he should be my boss, right? Just saying. But let's start from the beginning, right? When we are just like young and eager, coming from university, we probably start as junior developers. If developers, probably all of you are developers here in the room, we all started as just like coming from somewhere, or just like get into this role of being a developer, starting out as junior developers. And we need to learn our stuff. We need to learn how to code, how things work, how a CI/CD pipeline work, how deployments works, all those things. And we just like absorb a lot in the first years. And then we just like, look, what's next, right? What is the next thing? And so we look at the senior developer. Oh, the senior developer. The senior developer is just like sitting on the table with the important people sometimes, right? And they are the go-to person if you just like want to have some advice. So this is kind of a role that junior developers want, right? So they work towards that role to just like become the senior developer, and eventually they get promoted, if they're good, to being a senior developer, right? And then they just like, it's a new role, so they have adjust and just like try, just like mentor people and all those things and grow into the role. But what's the next step then? If you're just like being a senior developer, let's just become an engineering manager, right? That's the natural next step as being from senior, just like great person, just like promote them to an engineering manager. And after that, we become the director of engineering, VP of engineering, CTO, you name it, right? Just like going up the career ladder, right? But there's one thing, right? Why do we actually promote our senior developers to engineering managers? And there are some good reasons why we do that. So one thing is actually these are technical advisors. They pretty much know the code. They know actually the technology. So they are technical advisors. So just like, promote them to senior to engineering managers. They mentor people. So this is also a great skill to have as a manager, right? To mentor your team. So why not? And then people follow their leadership naturally, right? They're just like natural leaders. People follow them. So this is also a great skill. And then also they lead by example, which is a good manager skill, right? Leading by example. And they're actually domain experts. So once you're just like in the discussion with a team or with some other teams, they know their shit, right? They know their stuff. So great, So just like promote them to managers, right? It's just like seems to be the natural next step. But this is the thing, right? We promote our good programmers to managers. But not only our good programmers we promote to managers. Some of us just like also promote our bad programmers, right, to managers. Not that we want to get rid of them as programmers, maybe we do, but it is more around just like you can be great, or you can be just like bad as being a programmer, but be a great manager, right? There's two different things, right? Manager and developers are two different things. They are not the same thing, right? So it's not a natural move to just like move to being a manager. Not everyone can do that, and some people try, and then it's okay if you step back and say, not for me, right? So managers are actually different, right? So they need to just like grow the team. Like seeing what do we need? Do we need a back-end developer on the team, or more QA engineer, or a front-end developer, whatever, right? Or should we just like hire a senior developer or junior developer? So they need to just like make this decision on how to grow the team. Then they need to motivate the team, right? Even if things are not going well, they still need to say, okay, great, we're getting it out here. It's just like a tough time. So just like keep on moving, motivating, moving the team in the right direction so everyone is aligned, right? So then they need to lead the team, and they need to resolve conflicts. And that was the worst thing that I experienced as being a manager. Just like everything is great if the team is just like moving forward and just like running, and there are unicorns and rainbows everywhere, and we understand each other, great cohesion in the team, great alignment, wow, we are rocking it. But once there's a conflict right there, you have to deal with that as a manager, and that is actually a different skill that you need to have, right? So we sometimes look at career ladders like this, but I think it's more like this, right? It's more a branch. We're branching from being a developer to just like going on the manager track. But how do we actually go forward on the individual contributor track? Now, if you just like look at the job market, there has been some in the last, I said, 6 years or 7 years, some new roles popping up, or some new names of roles popping up, just like being a staff engineer, or just a principal engineer, or distinguished engineer. You might have heard about that. There's no really definition of what this is, and I think also every company has their own definition, and some companies think like, oh, now this person is 5 years a senior developer. The next step is just like we promote them to being a staff engineer, but like simply doing the same job, right, that they were doing before. I talked to some of these things, and to some of the leaders, so you can see like the industry is just like looking for these roles, right? You can just like apply for this principal engineer, staff engineer, distinguished engineer, all the things, right? So, but I talked to a lot of staff engineers, distinguished engineers, and principal engineers, just to see like, what is it different? What is your day by day job? What are you responsible for? And it's just like my definition that I found, and just like find similarities between those different companies that I talked to. So there's no really right or wrong here, but just like saying, looking at the staff engineer is still pretty close to the code base, right? And still doing some things. So the staff engineer normally sits above a team, so just like it's like advising more teams, actually, just like not one team, but jumps from team to team, improve the development process so they can take from one team something to the next team, aligns the goals, because talking to different teams just like helps to align the goals, make big architectural decisions, help the team with that decisions, and still fixing some really nasty technical problems. The next step would be just like being a principal engineer. And the principal engineer is, from the code, more cares about the whole product, right, that the teams are building. And the principal engineer is just like for aligning the product vision also with the technology. So when the team just like plans, the product team plans just like moving the product into a different direction, then the principal engineer sees and says, how can we do that in code? How can we just like make it on the technical platform? How can we build that? And then also measures the org needs and plans for improvement. And the next step is then the distinguished engineer. And for example, at Google, there are a couple of distinguished engineers, and they say their distinguished engineers still fit in a small room. So there are not a lot of these engineers out there, except at Google, right? Other companies can have different definitions, but they care more about the whole business, right? So they're still technical people, right? So they can advise the leadership teams and still work on the pretty complicated stuff. And then at the same time, just like being a spokesperson on the technical side for the company, because they are still in deep technical knowledge and solves technical things, so they can be a spokesperson for the company on technical sides, and they follow industry trends and bring that trends in, building their network of distinguished engineers, and so on and so on. So this is how actually I see it. So there's just like another individual contributor path in the companies now, and they establish it more and more. All right, but why not leave planet programming? Why do you want to stay there? There's some other cool roles out there that still requires the knowledge of being a programmer, but evolves into different directions. Did I say planet?
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Space.
First apology.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the enterprise developer. Let's explore strange new worlds to seek out new jobs and new opportunities to boldly go where no developer has gone before. Are you ready? All right, let's do that. Because there's actually a whole developer universe out there. And sometimes we don't see that because we're just like so focused on being a feature developer, right? By just like seeing what's all possible, by just like leaving planet programming, because there are other planets out there, like the operation planet, promotion, customer, product, teaching, and research, right? So if we look a little bit closer at roles that are on the product side, if you just like want to move more into product manager, I know actually some developers that moved into the role of a product manager because they really like to create stuff and they have the opportunity in that role to really create the product. Or QA engineer, I talked this morning about the quality assistance, right? Still building the technical platform for running the tests, right? And helping developer to build better software, to more quality software. Or operations, right? Like a platform engineer. Right, so just like helping also developers by building a developer platform and still have the developers as customers in your system, or better, system admin or site reliability engineer. I know some people that are just like happy as a site reliability engineer because there's happening just like more on the day and just like super surprising what's next day. They like that challenge more. Or on the customer side, just like being a technical account manager or a technical recruiter. I actually know also some developers that actually are now technical recruiter because they can ask candidates great developer questions and can judge that. Or promotion, like we are developer advocates, which is not just about promotion, but part of the job is also promotion. There's a lot of teaching also, like technical writer. Helen has been a technical writer.
Yeah.
So there are just like a lot of things out there. I put it together in a GitHub repository. You can just like look at that or use that or whatever if you want. Just putting it out there. And if it's not a complete list, so if you have something, just like do a pull request and I merge it into this repository. But how do you actually know, right? Now that you said, I want to be, let's say, platform engineer, right? How does that work out? So you have a platform team and you just like want to do that. How do you find out if this is the right thing to do? Because you don't want to be like Nicolas Cage, just like, oh, bad career move. So how do you know if that's the right role for you, right? Yeah. So some companies are offering that. If not, you can do it yourself and just like talk to your boss about it and say, I'm going to be on an internship on the platform team. Talk to the platform team and talk to your boss just like 2 weeks or 1 week, or just like to try out and feel what it's like to be in that role. And I know some people actually that are doing that frequently every year. They just like trying out 2 new roles, just like to see like what other part of the businesses are there and how they work. Or just like do job shadowing, that's less work, but whatever you call that. We at Atlassian have actually this thing called job rotation. So that's a program that we have for developers that want to just like discover something else, and just like for half a year, they're on a job rotation, so they leave their team, being 2 months a QA engineer or whatever, a site reliability engineer or product manager, and then come back to being a developer, and they can decide like what they want to do next. But it's a great way to try it out, to work 2 months in that role, and then come back and say, you know what, developer is the best role ever, which I think it is. Or developer advocate. Anyway, so just like what I want to take away here is it's not a straight line. Don't just like see your career as just like being, I'm a developer, I'm a senior developer, I'm an engineering manager, or I'm a staff developer, and I just like have to go that way. There's so much nuances to being a developer, and where you can use your development skills in other things that you're also interested in. I see it more like this, and this is also a little bit my career path here. Just like I did a lot of different things. But what helped me a lot was actually that I'm also speaking at conferences, I'm writing blog posts, I'm on social, so people knew me, so it helped me just like to try out new roles and to move in different jobs. What would you call that? Just like
I would call that, personal brand, building on your personal brand as you're going along.
Yeah.
So,
building the personal brand.
Building the personal brand. Thank you. Your personal brand, that's definitely something that I'm very interested in, mostly because I think I did it all wrong to start with. But the very first question we should ask ourselves is, why bother, right? You're all busy people. Why would you, go and invest time in this? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about what one could look like, and then how you can grow it. So first up, why bother? This is quite a simple one for me. It boils down to the fact that a lot of us have the same skills, the same experience. We might have worked at the same place. We work on the same technologies. And over time, when you boil all your experience and everything you've done, and you have to squish it into those 2 to 3 pages of CV for a hiring manager somewhere, it starts to look kind of similar to the person sat next to you. So this is where a personal brand can really help, because it can elevate you and it can really help with job searching opportunities and just help you to stand out, right? That's really what a personal brand is about, is that spotlight on yourself and saying, this is me, this is who I am. So if I say to you, create a personal brand, I'm going to go out on a limb and say a good number of you would say, okay, I'm going to go and build a website. And that's exactly what I did. But retrospectively, I would encourage you to take a step before that one. I would encourage you just to take a moment and stop and think. And it's coming up towards the end of the day, so hopefully, that's going to be a little easier for us now. But stop and think about who you are. What do you care about? What are you passionate about? What are you most authentic about? What technology, quite literally, makes you jump out of bed? Given you're here, it's probably Java, but still. If you're feeling morbid, what do you want on your tombstone? Right? These are the things that is your personal brand. It's not your skills, it's not your experience, it's not which boot camp you went to or what university you went to. That's all part of it. But what will really separate you from the person sat next to you is what you're most authentic about. And I'm going to come on to some examples about that. So, stepping back from the website idea, one of the first things you can do, which is in my opinion, a much easier thing to do, is social media. Sven.
Yeah.
What? Are you literally on social media right now?
I'm tweeting, all right?
In the middle of this talk.
Just like about the talk. You want to do a selfie?
You want to do a selfie?
Let's do that.
All right.
Come on.
Since I've caught him on social media. All right. You're not going to turn the camera around this time, are you?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Yay!
with talk.
All right. Cool.
Awesome. So social media, the year is 2023. Privacy is dead. Sorry. But look, there's lots of choices out there. And whether you love social media, hate social media, whichever social media platforms you are on, and Mastodon is not represented here, and I really wish it was. But whichever social media platforms you're on, there are some very quick wins for your personal brand. Now, remember, your personal brand, we're working on this potentially for new opportunities and new jobs. Hiring managers are massive stalkers. They are going to look you up. They are going to want to find more information about you, what you do, what you care about, and whether or not you're going to be a good fit for their company. So with that in mind, align your usernames. So I'm Helen Joe Scott everywhere. You're Sven Pett everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just a little path that somebody can follow through your universe. It's very helpful and it's very easy. Brand consistency. You can align this across your channels. And I don't mean a palette of colors. I mean what you're most authentic about, what you care about. And I'm going to show you some great examples of that. Have the same text everywhere. Then people know that it's that Sven, not a different Sven. It's just very helpful. These are really easy, quick things that you can do to build your personal brand. Something else you can do, something I could bang on about all day, is you can create content, right? We all started writing Hello World, I think. So you don't necessarily need to be an expert in what you want to create content in. You just need to care about it. And maybe you might want to create a blog, right? Lots of people love consuming and learning from blogs. Lots of people love watching videos and then even creating videos. There's also TikTok, but I think I might be a little bit old for TikTok.
Why?
What?
You're not on TikTok?
Are you on TikTok?
Sure. You want?
Do you want to see Sven's TikTok video?
I tried one video on TikTok. You want to see that?
All right. Well, this is the second apology of the presentation, and you asked for this, so bear that in mind. I've got
one laugh. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
The dog does not look impressed, can I just say? Should Sven stay on TikTok? Yeah,
right.
Mixed, harsh, very harsh.
Okay. Maybe I'm too old.
Communities. So you can create this content, sure, but it's much more helpful if you go out and you share it with communities. Communities like DevOps UK. But since we're here, it would be very remiss of me not to mention the London Java community. They have a booth here, and they are wonderful people, and they can do wonders for your career and your personal brand and point you in all sorts of directions. So it's my first completely shameless plug for the LJC. If you haven't already gone and said hello, especially if you're based in London, go say hi to them. But look, it doesn't need to be DevOps UK, it doesn't need to be the LJC. It can be a smaller local Java use group or Kotlin use group, whatever. You can start your own, right? The value of creating content comes from sharing it with communities, consuming it, giving back. We all learn, we all grow. Right, on to some exciting examples. First one, I'm going to make him famous once again. Tom Calls, great guy. He's here. He's got a presentation tomorrow, Learning Through Tinkering. It's excellent. Please go see it. But the reason I put this up here is Tom's Twitter profile is great. It's authentic. It's not a fancy palette of colors. Well, he has got a website there now, but it's who he is, what he cares about, what he's most authentic about it. He leads the Belgium Jug, where he works. He's a software engineer. Perfect. And he uses that same kind of format and text everywhere. Next example I've got for you is from Isabel Costa. GitHub README. This is a really low bar for your personal brand. Remember, hiring managers are stalkers. They will look. You might as well make it easy for them and put something up there so people, especially for us developers, GitHub README, then they can see who you are, what you care about, what you want to do. Final one I put up there, Sarisha Pratha. I put this example up here for two reasons. One, she does great technical blogs. She's taking a bit of a break at the moment, but that's to my second reason. You don't need to blog regularly to blog. That's it. Of course, the algorithms will love you and reward you if you do, but you don't need to. You can just put content out there because it's great content. So how do you then go about building your brand? If you haven't already gathered, I'm a little bit fish obsessed in this presentation. How do you go about building your brand? Well, there's a few things you can do. I've already mentioned content. Podcasts. If you're invited to speak on a podcast, say yes. It's a lot of fun, and you'll learn, and you'll get your name out there. Other things you can do, you can go to meetups, like I've just mentioned, the local ones. The LJC are getting back to in-person meetups now. So if you are based here in London, then that might be a really great opportunity for you. If you're not based here in London, they do online meetups as well. They're kind of roughly a 50-50 balance at the moment, I think. You could write a book. That's a thing. Getting to Know Intelligent Idea by Helen, Scott, and Trisha G. That's an option. You can write a book. It's a lot of hard work, but I highly recommend it. You could speak at conferences. You could come and do this, right? Again, it's a great way to build your personal brand, get your name out there. And the great thing about speaking is if you're a little bit shy, it's really cool because people come up to you afterwards, and then you get to know more people. So it's about networking. It's about growing. It's about sharing your journey with the community. So to summarize, why? It's simple. You're so much more than just 2 to 3 pages of A4. You've done so much more. You care about so much more. And a personal brand is a great way of showcasing that. They're also really useful vehicles for looking back. You know, the first time you write a blog or create a video or give a talk, it's probably not going to be amazing. But when you do it in 10 years' time and look back, you're going to be like, wow, I've come a long way. So you can look back. It's a journey. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but it is a super fast-moving industry. When you say...
It is super fast moving. It's a real pace, and we need to keep up with what's going on, because software development is definitely changing every year, every month, and it's hard sometimes to just like know what are the good tools out there, right? There are always just like better tools, new versions of the tool that we use, and we need to find out, are these features good for us? There are new ways of working coming up, things that you can do for your team to work better together, on the next big technology, right? That you can jump on and just like own it and use it for your software development and be faster in software development. But the thing is, we need to constantly learn, right? We need to just like know all those things. And you're doing a great job being here at DevOps UK. That's the first. It's a great step to just like dive into just like some of the topics and see just like for 50 minutes what it's all about, and then decide if you want to jump closer to in it or not, right? But I hear from a lot of people that I talk to and say, you need to take time out to learn. They say, we don't have time, right? We're doing sprints, right? We're sprinting all the time. I say, yeah. But being just like staying with the sport analogy here, you can't sprint all the time. You need to also take time to just like train, right? You need to just like learn how to sprint better. And all those things we also need to do when we're doing software development. We need to take our time. So how does companies actually do that for us? What are they doing? They give us books, right? Or online books these days, and say you can just like buy whatever you want, right? And then just like read it. Okay, great. That helps. Or they say, yeah, we send you on a workshop, on a training, you got a budget, or you get just like 5 days each year to just like train yourself. So this is a really classical approach from companies to do these things. But as I said, right, being creative with that, just like going to conferences is one thing, but also listening. So that's what I do frequently. It's just like when I commute to my co-working space where I work, or I'm working out in the morning, I'm listening to podcasts and audiobooks that I'm interested in, and this helps also to just like get an idea what these technologies are all about, what's currently what people are talking about. And then just like maybe jump closer into it afterwards, or participate in open source projects. Also ask your company if you can participate in the project that you're using for your software, right? Not just like consuming the open source community, but also just like actively be inside the open source community and help moving things forward. All those things said that, it's just like if you just like do some time on the work, is a little bit like you're taking time out for yourself, while the other team members are just like sprinting and also doing stuff. feels like I'm letting my team members down. So here's some tips on how you can actually learn as a team together, right? Take the whole team on a learning journey and carve out some time. So this is what I did. I did some brown bag sessions with my team where team members were just like talking about something for 10 minutes during lunchtime. We're taking the brown bag with us, and just like we eat and we just like discuss things, and it helps us to start conversations that we normally have not taken. Just like some things that you learned along the way when you were coding, just like talk about it for 10 minutes and then just like start the conversations. Helps a lot. Also, book clubs, and I see Lauren up there. Thank you for organizing the book club at MongoDB. So that was a great way. I'm not a big book reader. I actually don't like book reading, but what were we doing were just like we were picking a book, and then we were reading a chapter each week, and we met then for 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and discussed this chapter. And guess it was not about just like learning what's inside the chapter, but was really great to taking the team and have a discussion around that. And there were so many great conversations that sparked that. And what I learned from other people's opinion, it's just like amazing. The book club was really great. Thanks, Lauren, again. And then we were also doing coding sessions at a company where we just like took one hour each week, and we said, okay, let's learn some Rust programming, because we just like want to find out what this programming is feeling. And so we just like each week we did some exercises together as a team, just like learn some Rust. And when we were just saying, okay, great, we couldn't use that in production, but maybe in the next project we're saying, okay, great, let's try Rust. We tried it and it seems like really good. So also this helps us to learn new technologies, new programming languages, and new methodologies. All right, so why should organization do that, right? They should just like give you time to just like work on the product, right? Not enhancing your career, right? It's also some goals for organizations in there. The products get better because you can just like, you dive more deeper in technologies, you learn more, the products benefit from that, the quality of the product and the performance of the product. You grow your talent, right? Your talent, you just like promote them, they're more knowledgeable, you grow your talent. And also you keep your talent as a company, because it's different. Not every company are offering that, but if companies are offering that, that's a pretty differentiator, right? So also like you want to stay at this place. But what are your personal goals with learning, right? It's growing as a person, right? Growing my knowledge, growing myself. But it could also be just like involved, I want to see like what's out there and where I can earn more money, and just like looking at that. That's a decent reason, right? So what technology should you learn, right, to earn more money? I did a short research on the internet, and the average payment of a .NET developer here in the London area is £58,000. So it's an okay salary. And then you look at Clojure developers. Who thinks Clojure developers earn more? Who thinks they earn less? A few? Yeah, sorry. It's £90,000. Clojure developers, great. So thanks for being here. I'm off learning Clojure now. Thank you. All right. No, actually, so... but if you look at open roles, probably that's not a good decision, right? One open position on Clojure developer here in London, probably not the best decision. But if you just like want to try out something, so Rust developers, £77,000 and 60 open positions, that could be a better option. So if you want to dive more deeper into it, there are great surveys. What's hot currently? What are companies looking for? What technologies other developers are looking at? There's a developer survey from Stack Overflow, the state of developer ecosystem from JetBrains, and then a small Spanish startup that I've worked for does a developer career report and compares salaries and all those things. But no matter what you do, just like you should go with your passion, not just like looking at the numbers, but you should go with what you're passionate about, because you have to stick with that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? So go with your passion. I also, interestingly, did a short survey or just like a survey at a conference, at a Java conference, and asked what are hiring managers or what is like people are looking at if they just like interview for new candidates. And guess what? There's Java in there, yeah, because there was a Java conference. But amongst this 150 people that answered me, most people answered, yeah, we're looking at soft skills, right? Communication is important. All those things. It's not just the technology, it's also the soft skills that you need to work on. So how can you actually do that? What are good tips to just like improve this side of things?
Well, there are a few ways. The way that I would like to talk about is mentoring. This is a subject that I'm particularly passionate about. So, mentoring. Yeah, all right. What is it? It's always important to define these things because a lot of people have different definitions of what mentoring is, what mentoring isn't. I'm going to give you my definition. Hopefully, it roughly tallies with yours. It's an informal, voluntary relationship. No money should change hands. You learn a thing. That's fundamentally what a mentoring is. A mentor shares knowledge, a mentee learns from that. We usually use them for career development and progression. And as Sven said, it can be soft skills, it can be other things that I'm going to come on to. Before I go any further, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there'll be a bunch of you in the audience today who have done mentoring as well as been mentors. It is a very rewarding thing to do. One of the first things that a mentor, a lot of you will be thinking is, what can I learn from my mentee? And that's a really great question to ask yourself right at the start of the relationship of, what can I learn from this person? Otherwise, you've got a power dynamic in play, and it can get a little bit weird. So why mentoring? Why bother? Fundamentally, it's to learn and grow. Right? Our careers are long. There's this massive bit in the middle where we have to learn in this very fast-moving industry. And mentoring can really help here, and it can help us to, again, advance our careers because we're not born experts. We can't even write Hello World when we're born. So we have to learn this stuff, and mentoring is one way of doing it. So what can you be mentored in? Well, there's quite a few options here, and this is not an exhaustive list. A side project. This might just be something that a colleague or a friend or somebody wants to work on, and you're like, oh, that technology interests me, or that aspect interests me. You can be mentored in that. You can say, hey, can I come along for the journey? That can be a helpful thing. You can be mentored in creating content. We're not, all good at writing great blog posts. We're not all good at creating great videos. Something you can be mentored in. You can say, can you help me with that? Creating slides. If you want to be mentored in that, talk to Sven. Contributing to open source. So my colleague Marit, she's here, well, not here, but around. She mentored me in contributing to open source the first time I did it because I had no idea what I was doing. And she took me through the process end to end, and it was very helpful. And I learned a lot, and hopefully so did Marit. A way of working. If you've, had 2 or more jobs, maybe you've realized that agile means completely different things in every single place of work. So you can be mentored in a way of working as well. Maybe not agile, but any different ways of working that you want to be involved in. Right? These are some of the things that we don't typically think about with mentoring. Using a technology, this is the common one. I want to be mentored in Java. Right? It's an obvious one. Mentoring with using a technology. Conferences and public speaking. So one of the reasons I'm here today is a year ago, roughly.
Yeah.
I pinged Sven and said, hey, will you mentor me? Will you work together with me to put together a conference talk? And he said yes. So that was kind of awesome. So that's, again, that's something else that you can be mentored in. And this, again, is not an exhaustive list. So what do you need to be mentored? You need 2 things. You need a goal and you need a time. And I recently read a very good article called 8 Things Every Great Mentee Should Know. And one of the points, I think it's by Mark Horozowski, if you want to look it up, but one of the points that this article made was get your mentee, or even if you are the mentee, to perform a professional gap analysis of your career. So thinking about what you want to be mentored in, where you are, where you want to be. Also think about things like, how do you like to learn? Some of us like theory, some of us like practical. Some of us like reading, some of us don't like reading. Some of us can't watch videos, some of us are far too impatient. So think about your learning style as well as how much time do you have and what's your goal. Once you've done that, go search for a mentor. This is going to be my second plug for the LJC. They have a program called Meet a Mentor. They have a specific program for this. So if you go and speak to Jade, Abby, or Alicia, they will tell you about this program. It matches prospective mentors with prospective mentees. It's a really awesome program. You can look in your workplace. You can look at your colleagues. I'm currently being mentored by a colleague's husband, so your second-degree networks. And just start looking, just start having a conversation. Don't just kind of go for the first person you think, I want to be mentored by that person. You can start, narrow it down, have a conversation, just talk, see where it goes. If you want to be mentored by somebody that you don't know or you can't get an introduction to, I wouldn't advise just sliding into their DMs and saying, hey, can you mentor me? I would slide into their DMs with a lot more information about who you are, why you're messaging them, what you're looking for, etc. Because ultimately it is voluntary and it takes time. So just talk, grow, have a conversation. Once you've done that, just continue. That's it. Just continue that, but with a word of warning that mentorship should have a start, a middle, and an end. They shouldn't go on forever. But you both grow, right? You've learned from this. You've grown from this, right?
Yeah. You're the first talk I do with a co-speaker, actually. So that's something new to me.
It doesn't stop there, right? Once your mentor and your mentee, you part ways, you can go forth, you can find new mentors. You can have as many mentors as you have time for. Caution, a lot of us are quite time poor with our jobs and family and conferences and all the rest of it, but you can have as many mentors as you have time for. So my final question to you would be, what would be in your circles? You're sat there now thinking, I could go and have a chat to the LJC and I could maybe get a mentor, and what would you want to be mentored in? So what would be in your circles? Okay, we have 4.5 minutes left. This is my third and final apology for this presentation. I am now going to hand over to Sven for...
Career stoppers. Mythbusters. All right, let's bust some myth or just confirm them.
Yeah, either or. Let's do it.
All right. Are you ready? Okay, let's do that. That's just like the last part of the presentation. So let's bust some myths. So first myth is career stopper, the lazy one. So the one that stays too long in a single position, doesn't move forward, just stays for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the same position and doesn't progress the career.
On. Sorry, I stayed in a job for 9 years, nearly 10, and I was happy. And I was well rewarded. I had a great team. I got promotion. Are you saying that's bad?
Actually, I just said that, but I want to just put that back, because I also was in the same position for 7 years, and I was quite happy with what I was doing. So,
and that's the key, right? As long as you're happy, because life will throw you curveballs, and sometimes maybe I don't know, you've just had a baby and you want to spend some more time with your family, then that might be a time that you don't want to go for that brand new promotion. So I think as long as you're happy, I don't see anything wrong with staying in a place. All
right. What do we call this myth?
Busted.
Busted.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the next one we got?
The next one.
The drifter. So this is the person that just sort of sits there and waits for the next thing to come along and dreaming, looking out the window, and the career will look after itself and they don't need to worry about it, and good things will come to those who wait. And they're just sort of, it'll happen, very passive.
But you know what? I have also something there where not everyone is good at self-promoting, right? To just know that, just talking about themselves.
Yeah.
There can be good managers that can see that, but good work don't naturally speaks for.
That's true.
Itself,
right? The saying that I met a good number of folk in the audience were raised with was good work speaks for itself. It doesn't, FYI. If you're doing good work, make sure whoever needs to know about it knows about it. Don't assume that they know about it. Make sure they know about it. So I think you've definitely made a good point there, Sven, in that terms of sometimes advocating for yourself. Some people are better at it than others, and that's completely okay. But this one is kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword, I think.
Yeah. What we call it?
Plausible.
Yeah, okay, it's plausible. Yeah. All right. And the last one is the lonely wolf, right? The one that sits there in the corner, no social skills, but just like hacking away, saying if code reviews are up, just like you don't have to review my
with that
code, it's
person.
great code. You can, I can review your code because you know it's
Yeah,
not so good code,
it's
right?
yeah.
The one that,
This isn't a very comfortable place, I don't think. I mean, ultimately, we're team players, right? You know the saying: if you want to go somewhere fast, go it alone. If you want to go far, go as a team. And I think this goes back to the mentoring. Linus Torvald as well.
yeah.
He was like, okay, well, perhaps this isn't my area of expertise.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, this one is a stopper.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
software
software.
development is a team sport. We need to collaborate to build big software. We need to collaborate not just with our team, but probably with more teams if you're working on a bigger project. So
Yeah.
soft
Confirmed?
skills confirmed. That's
Yeah.
a career stopper.
Yep.
All right. But no matter what you do with your career, make decisions on the way. That's just like, if there's one takeaway here, they want you just like make conscious decision and move in the direction. If you want to work for another product, go there. If you want to just like work for more money, that's an okay reason to just like move your career forward. If you just like want to work for another company because you just like want to experience some other culture, but just like make this conscious decision about, yeah, I'm taking this step because I want to go there, right? Because one thing is for sure, right? Don't sit there and wait until someone comes up and promotes you or just like offers you a great, good new job. Just like staying there, that's not a strategy. Things won't happen just out of the air, right? So own your career and don't just let it happen. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.